Hey there, welcome. I'm Damien and I'm just another starving artist on the internet. I want to start today's video by saying that I don't actually know. I don't know whether AI art will be a long-term problem or whether the novelty of it will eventually fade away and people will stop talking about it. At first I was very optimistic. I genuinely believed that it wasn't going to catch on, as it has many gaps in its ability to perform to the same level as a human artist. And I don't mean in terms of render quality, because an art job is far more than just rendering very good, and I will talk more about this point in a moment. We first need to understand what this AI actually is, and the lies and misunderstandings of both supporters and detractors. While I was writing the script for this video, another YouTuber with the username HelloFutureMe released an over 2 hours long video talking about this same topic called the AI Art Apocalypse, and we go over most of the same points and share a lot of the same opinions and concerns regarding AI. I will leave a link to his video in the corner if you wish to know more about this. Consider my video an introduction or a summary of the issue, if you will. But before we go on, let me introduce you to today's original character. This is Samudra, one of the many manifestations of an eldritch entity from a game I'm currently working on called Mysterious Manor. And if you like my work, there's a link to all my social media in the description below. And if you would like to support me, you can find my Ko-fi page in the same link, but if you want to get something in return for your support, you can get a physical print of this drawing from my shop, available in 4 different sizes, or a keychain featuring the same character. Now, on with the video. What is AI art? Well, it may seem very self-explanatory, but it is actually the first lie, or I should say marketing strategy, being used by the people that profit from this technology. AI, or what we call AI models nowadays, aren't exactly intelligent, at least not in the way we understand intelligence as a living being. Instead, we should think of them as very complex pattern recognition algorithms. They are fed data, and they make associations between the different elements of this data. You feed some more data, and they will do the same and compare the two datasets to polish and improve the pattern generated from the original. Do this a few thousand times, and the AI model can now produce an entirely new pattern that may resemble one of the images it has been fed originally. I want to add here as well that things like Skynet, or Rocco's Basilisk are not really realistic portrayals of what AI can do and how they quote-unquote think. An AI model can only learn to do the tasks it has been assigned to do better, but will never learn to do something different out of their own will. I have heard AI researchers and programmers feeling very frustrated at how the media portrays AI and the image it has on the public consciousness, which is completely misleading. And I'm not going to lie, it is very useful technology and I am very excited to see what AI models will be able to do in the future. But we're talking specifically about art here, and as an artist myself, my opinion is a bit different in this field. This revolution in AI art has been compared to the development of photography and digital painting. And both analogies are massively flawed in the way they seem to not understand how these technologies work and how they have impacted the art industry. Photography did not get rid of realism or hyperrealism in art, and digital art certainly did not get rid of traditional artists. And I will be as bold as to use myself as an example of someone who does both traditional and digital art. I don't believe AI art will get rid of artists, or that's what I hope at the very least. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this because I don't want to lose my job or I am gatekeeping art or something like that. We will get to those points in this video, but there are many aspects to this issue, so we have to go through them one by one before we can see the full picture. There have also been people that for a short time were of the opinion that neither photography nor digital art were real art in the corresponding time when they were first invented, and have been proven wrong eventually. With this, I want to propose the question of whether AI art is art or not, and maybe it is. In this case, the author had no intention whatsoever with their artwork, as a machine has no will of its own. However, death of the author theory suggests that the intentions of the author are, in a way, completely irrelevant to the interpretation of a work. The audience is free to conclude their own meaning from the artwork being presented and completely disregard what the original creator or author intended to convey. A complete disconnection between the art and the artist that produced it. I find myself being a strong supporter of this theory, as this is actually the intended way I want my audience to engage with my work, but I understand that not everyone thinks the same way. What I mean to say with this is that perhaps AI art was not made with an intention given to it by an artist, but an audience can definitely give it meaning, therefore making it meaningful and making it art. We can sit here all day making fun of how ugly AI art is, how easy it is to tell apart and call it not real art. But I don't think that's the hill we should die on as artists. We should be better than that. Let's have a look at the real problems with AI art instead. The way AI models are trained is probably the most controversial topic we can bring up in any AI art conversation. Not without reason, because they are indeed trained with stolen material. And you have to accept this as a fact, even if you are a strong defender of AI art. These models are trained with millions of images scraped from the internet without any sort of vetting or moderation. And representatives of AI model developers have openly admitted that they don't have the resources to go through every image that is fed into the model to ask for permission from artists. And I can understand that because it's somewhat true. Most images online don't have any sort of metadata providing copyright information, and the cost of finding and contacting every single artist will be astronomical. They should still do it, but we are dealing with massive corporations that will let the world burn, if it means they can get a fraction of a percentage in profits from said destruction. They can afford to do this as well because they know we're not a unified front. We are a lot of small freelancers who individually don't have the capital or influence to touch them. What they are doing is legal in a way. It is allowed to scrape the internet for data and feed it to an AI model under the condition that this is done for research purposes and not for profits, which immediately falls flat on its face when you have Stable Diffusion offering paid subscriptions to use their models. And artists wanting to opt out of this or receive compensation for using their work leads into the next point. A large number of AI art supporters, not all of them, but an important portion, seem to have an immense hate for artists. We are seen as greedy gatekeepers that extort absurd amounts of money from the public, and they claim to be fighting for the democratization of art. And they could not be more wrong. Most of us, myself included, aren't even making minimum wage with our art. I have seen cases of AI users creating datasets with illustrations in a specific style or from a specific artist to train their own model installed in their computer and fine-tune it until it gives the desired results. They then go on to sell that trained model to other people because they want to be compensated for the effort they put into creating it. And I hope you can all see the irony in this. Artists also go through a lot of effort to create their art. So of course we want to be compensated for it because being an artist is a job and art is a product. And being a product doesn't reduce its artistic value, by the way. This drawing you're seeing right now took me about 40 hours to finish. If this was a commission for someone and I was charging minimum wage, I will round it to about £10 an hour for the sake of simplicity. So £400 for this sounds unreasonable to many people. But you are not just asking for a custom piece of art, you're also asking for 40 hours of my time. But this is not a commission, that's why I post it online and you can enjoy it for free. And you can get an A3 print for only £20 on Etsy, cheaper if you want a smaller size. We're not gatekeeping anything, we're just doing a job. And listen, I'm sure that everyone that supports AI art is already gone from this video, but if you're still here, please listen. We're not the elite art industry. We're not making that kind of money. We have other normal jobs and still struggle. What you want is to democratize art. No one is stopping you from drawing. Drawing is free. You don't have to go to art school. I have never set a foot inside an art school. And you can ask if you need help improving. We will most likely offer you help for free. And you're not damaging the elite art industry either. They don't care about art. They only care about its monetary value, and that's a completely different issue. Okay, so I don't know how to segue into the next thing I want to talk about, so I'm just going to do it by saying that I don't know how to do it, and here we go. So some people have been saying that AI art models learn to do art in the same way real artists do. And yeah, that's not true. As I said earlier in this video, these models are just very complex pattern recognition and pattern replication algorithms. They don't really know what things are. If we assume you don't know what an apple is, I can show you one, tell you what it is, and now you know what an apple is and you can draw it. On the other hand, an AI model will need to see images of apples from dozens of different angles and perspectives, every possible color, different light conditions, and only then it will give you something that starts to resemble an apple. In order to improve, we practice and learn new techniques. An AI model can only improve if it's given more training data. No matter how many times you ask them to draw the same thing, this practice actually means nothing for the algorithm unless you feed the results that randomly came out looking good back to it. A process that is more similar to selective breeding than art development. This is how it applies to understanding what an object is, which, again, an AI model doesn't do, it simply recognizes patterns. But when it comes to imitating an artist's style, this is a bit different. We do in fact study and copy other artists in order to learn their style and techniques, but once we stop studying a specific style, we start to morph and change this style we just learned into our own as we gain experiences as an artist, because we are different people with different experiences, intentions and goals. An AI model is simply a black box that has only experienced what has been fed to it. It does not have a way to interact with the outside world, and it also doesn't have the will to create by itself, and it is not self-critical, as it lacks the emotions that will drive an individual to do that. And because of the way it's trained and the way it understands what things are, the person inputting prompts has very little control over how the results may come out. I know that there are a lot of new tools that allow you to modify only sections of an image and create your own training data to control the visual style of the output and all of that. But in the end, AI models are good at creating the illusion of detail, but not actual detail. And you will need an artist to eventually go and edit the image to make it look exactly the way you want it. I also understand that these models are advancing very fast, and these limitations may not be there for a long time. But I believe that the inability to manage high levels of specificity and concrete details will be the biggest hurdle for AI art in the foreseeable future. And as a final point, now that we understand AI art a bit better, I want to address some concerns I have for the future of art, AI or otherwise. I already said that I think this technology is a very interesting and useful tool, and I believe it has a small place in the production of some creative projects from here on. Artists will still be needed because AI models need to be trained with new data. Otherwise, the only new data that these models will receive is their own creations, and perhaps fine-tune it with audience reactions and engagement. And if that was to happen, if all entertainment was produced by a pattern recognition algorithm owned by big companies that will have complete control over everything we consume, the way we consume it, and how we engage with it, that sounds like a dystopian nightmare. As a creator, I have been somewhat disheartened with my overall experience on the internet. And the reason has to do with those algorithms. Long before any discussion of AI art started, and to this very day, social media algorithms, which work very similarly to the AI models we're talking about, have had me stuck in a place of uninspired sameness. As an artist, I don't really want to find things I like. I already know what I like. I want the internet to make me discover things I didn't know I like. Routine and predictability is very comfortable, and as animals of habit, we generally tend to follow the path of least resistance. That's why we scroll for hours on social media looking at funny, easily digestible, mindless entertainment without batting an eye, because it's easy. I don't mean to say we should engage with everything in a super critical manner and overanalyze every image that goes through your retinas, because everything must have a deeper meaning. I am not saying that. But if you think the future of entertainment should be an AI pumping out enough media to keep you distracted from your problems and entertained every waking second of your life, calling forth nothing but superficial reactions and emotions in service of a multi-millionaire media company, then I don't know what to tell you. That's not a future I want to be a part of. And I'm not saying this as an artist, I'm saying this as a person. But anyway, AI is already here, and it's most likely going to stay for a long time. It is on us as users, as people, to decide how much power we give to this technology and how much we allow it to control our creative outputs. How willing are we to give up our voices? And that's all I have to say for now. I know this video got a little bleak and depressing in that last part, but I still hope you found it helpful and insightful, if only a little. Please let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video. If you have any suggestions for things you want me to talk about in the future, please let me know as well. And like, subscribe and do all the things that make the algorithm happy. We're now looking at the final drawing, and remember that if you like my work, you will find a link to all my social media in the description. If you want to support me, you will find my Ko-fi page in the same link, but if you would like to get something in return for your support, you can visit my shop and get this exact same drawing as a print, available in 4 different sizes, or a keychain featuring the same character. So yeah, keep drawing, keep getting better, and I'll see you next time.